Did you know there's a scenario so catastrophic that it would make nuclear winter look like a minor weather disturbance? Imagine this. Every volcano on Earth, all 1,500 active ones erupting at precisely the same moment. Scientists have discovered that supervolcano eruptions have triggered mass extinctions throughout Earth's history. But what would happen if not just one, but all volcanoes decided to blow their tops simultaneously? Would humanity survive? How long would the darkness last? And could life on Earth ever recover? In this episode of Imagine If, we're going to tackle the ultimate volcanic doomsday scenario and explore the shocking chain reactions that would unfold across our planet. The immediate aftermath would be nothing short of apocalyptic. Volcanoes like Yellowstone, Toba, and Krakatoa would unleash explosions equivalent to thousands of nuclear bombs. Pyroclastic flows, deadly avalanches of superheated gas, ash, and rock would race down slopes at hundreds of miles per hour, obliterating everything within dozens of miles of major volcanic centers. Cities near volcanoes like Naples, Mount Vesuvius, Seattle, Mount Rainier, and Tokyo, Mount Fuji, would face immediate destruction. But even those far from volcanic zones wouldn't escape unscathed. The volcanic bombs, lava, and ashfall would directly impact around 7% of Earth's land surface. But this is just the beginning. Scientists would finally have an answer to what's hotter than Fashion Week in Paris. The energy released in this global eruption would be staggering, equivalent to millions of Hiroshima bombs detonating simultaneously. The sound alone would create pressure waves that would circle the globe multiple times, rupturing eardrums of survivors hundreds of miles from eruption sites. Within days, the real global catastrophe would unfold. Hundreds of cubic miles of ash and sulfur dioxide would be injected high into the stratosphere, rapidly encircling the planet. The sun would appear dim and red, if visible at all, as global light levels plummeted by over 95%. This volcanic winter would make the famous Year Without a Summer, caused by Indonesia's Mount Tambora in 1815, seem like a minor inconvenience. Global temperatures would plunge by 15 degrees or more within weeks. Crops would fail worldwide as photosynthesis essentially halted. The darkness might persist for years, not months. The only silver lining? Vampires would finally be able to book those daytime beach vacations they've been dreaming about for centuries. The air itself would become a hazard. Beyond the immediate dangers of ash and toxic gases near eruption sites, the global atmosphere would become increasingly unbreathable. Sulfur dioxide would combine with water vapor to form sulfuric acid, creating acid rain that would devastate remaining plant life and contaminate water sources. Carbon dioxide levels would spike dramatically, but this greenhouse effect would be temporarily overshadowed by the cooling influence of atmospheric ash and aerosols. Respiratory diseases would skyrocket as fine particulate matter circulated globally. Volcanic fog, or VOG, would become a worldwide phenomenon rather than a localized hazard. The cocktail of gases, including hydrogen sulfide, carbon monoxide, and hydrogen fluoride, would create a toxic atmosphere that would persist long after the initial eruptions subsided. Our oceans, which regulate our climate and provide food for billions, would suffer catastrophically. Acid rain would alter ocean chemistry, threatening marine ecosystems already stressed by temperature changes. Massive underwater volcanoes would trigger tsunamis hundreds of feet high, devastating coastal regions worldwide. These tsunamis would be just one component of dramatic sea level changes. Ocean circulation patterns would be disrupted as temperature gradients shifted dramatically. The thermohaline circulation, the global oceanic conveyor belt that distributes heat worldwide, could potentially shut down, locking parts of the world in even more extreme cold conditions. Surfers would finally have those epic waves they're always talking about, unfortunately. Could humanity survive this volcanic apocalypse? A small fraction might. Deep underground bunkers with filtered air systems, extensive food stores, and independent power generation could sustain some communities. Regions far from major volcanic centers with existing infrastructure for indoor agriculture might maintain small populations. Don't let this video get buried under ash. Subscribe to Imagine If for weekly doses of scientific what-ifs, and tell us in the comments, which natural disaster should we tackle next? The survivors would emerge to a transformed planet. Once the ash settled and sunlight gradually returned, perhaps after a decade, they would find a world of extremes. Some areas would be buried under feet of ash, while others might experience enhanced fertility from mineral-rich deposits. Even this devastating scenario represents merely a reset button for our planet. After the most severe mass extinction since the dinosaurs disappeared, evolution would continue its work. Life has survived catastrophic volcanic episodes before the Permian-Triassic extinction event 252 million years ago involved massive volcanism that eliminated 90% of marine species and 70% terrestrial vertebrates. The geological record shows that major volcanic episodes have often coincided with evolutionary transitions. Our simultaneous eruption scenario would represent an extreme version of these periods, potentially setting the stage for entirely new dominant species to emerge in the post-human era. While this thought experiment makes for fascinating speculation, it's worth emphasizing again that such a synchronized eruption is physically impossible. Earth's volcanoes operate on independent systems with no mechanism for global coordination. Even during periods of increased volcanic activity, eruptions are spread across decades or centuries. So rest easy while individual volcanic eruptions certainly pose serious regional threats. The all-at-once scenario remains firmly in the realm of science fiction rather than science fact. But exploring such scenarios helps us appreciate both the power of Earth's geological forces and the remarkable resilience of life that has persisted through billions of years of planetary change. And if you're still worried, just remember, even in this worst-case scenario, you'd still never have to hear another TikTok dance song again. Silver linings, people.